everyone! How are you today? Let me just make sure I kill that one thing, otherwise we're gonna get echo, echo, echo. Hi! First of all, I updated OBS. Mistakes were made with an update because I had to go back through and pretty much go and reset a whole bunch of things. Speaking of reset. So that was fun. And you are just on time, Michael. We're just getting started. So hello everyone in the chat. I see you've been super active already, which is so much fun. So I got everything set up and the settings were going well, and then I got into a sneezing fit. So if I'm sneezing like a maniac, it's because fall is that wonderful time of year with leaves falling and the ragweed coming out, and I forgot to take my allergy medicine this morning when I gave the kids theirs. So hey, it's an adventure. Strahd things, chapter 3. I like that, Viper. So yes, I am going to be working on our lovely Strahd mini. Let me fix the camera because I bumped the camera while sneezing. So I think I kind of knocked it off kilter a little bit. Here we go. So here is our Strahd mini my Strahd mini that I'm being paid to do. So I'm going to get working on this fellow and hopefully finishing him up today. There are things like I need to make sure I get some, well, color on his flesh as well as his hair. Go back through and highlight some of the details. There's some other like little itty bitty things that I need to work on as well. Hello, Miss Thing. I'm glad you made it. So yeah, this is sort of... I really did bang this when I sneezed. So this is the plan for today of what I'm going to be working on, hopefully getting him done. Already took care of Nightmare, which if you were here for part 1, you would have seen as well. So I'm going to get to work on this, and then yes, I have pulled out... Aris can hear us now because she's working from home. Hooray! Yay! Allergies are the worst. Allergies are the very worst. So I'm opening up a new set of paintbrushes that Plaid has sent along to me. I thought they looked kind of cool. So I'm already ripping off showing the package. So this is from Plaid, but they have the little grippies on them. So I thought that'd be fun to try out. Like the little, let's see how it goes. So yeah, we'll give these guys a good old try. Ooh. So you get 4 of them. And they also put in this thing. I'm not thinking if I could use this for something. No. This couldn't be something for... Actually, it might be something for terrain. I am so bad. That's totally going in my what-if stash. Hold on. Oh, camera, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I got the sneezels and knocked you all around. Okay, that's better. So, I'm excited to see how these work out. I have never used brushes that have the fun little smushy grips on them. So I'm eager for that, and various tips to them. So here's the one. This is the spotter. You got your spotter. Carefully cap that back again. This one is the 5.0 spotter. Got a little flared out. That's probably gonna be more of like a, yeah, I'll have to wet that one down to see its true form. Alright, so this is more of a splayed out brush. I don't know if this is a post-production shipping issue, but this one's a little flared. Well, hello there, fellowship of the tables! How are you? So that's the 5.0 spotter. This is the 10 spotter. Can you spot me a 10? I had to go there. Da-da-da. So that's a nice narrow tip. And the last one that comes along with this is the 3.0 spotter, which again is more of a pointed tip. So that's what's in this set, because a lot of my narrower, finer tip ones are kind of going phew on me because I've been painting a lot. So yeah, I think the I think the one that's gonna be great for washes is this one. This is gonna become my new wash brush. The wash brush. We're back to tongue twisters again. Didn't we end on tongue twisters last week? And what were those tongue twisters? Now I'm trying to think about it. So that's the game plan for today. Get some color on our buddy boy. Well, as colorful as he can be for being the undead. Let's put it that way. It should be fun. Alright, so let me get started. The sword, this sword, it needs help. And I have tried to help it many times, and it's just not being nice. I am probably going to every so often put on my little reading glasses, so you got your librarian look today. Make sure you are quiet. Do not get loud in the library for the more finer detail things. And let's see. I think that's pretty much the direction we're going to go. So, first things first, I was debating how I wanted his flesh tone to be. Vallejo does have dead flesh. It absolutely has dead flesh. Carne muerta. That just gave carne asada just a whole different mental picture for myself. So dead flesh, but it's more like a zombie. I think I'd be fine with it. This is almost too yellow. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix in. We're gonna play mix and match. So I am gonna mix in Bonewhite. So basically, I want to take this color and bring it down. Looking forward to seeing this completed. Me too, Trevor. I'm excited about it. It's a really cool mini. It's also one of those minis. Not that I haven't painted very detailed minis, but because the details are so... My eyes are getting tired quickly with them, and I don't want to eye strain myself out of being able to complete it. So, a little bit at a time, and we'll get there for sure. Just need to get another brush to mix this together. And so what I'm hoping to get is, yes, that's what I'm hoping to get. So it's got the sallow undertone of the dead flesh, but it is pale, like the Bonewhite is really the direction I'm going for with this one. So you can see that there. So that's, there we go. Now we're talking. Now we're finding a color combination that I'm liking. All right, so which one of you am I gonna pull out and have fun with today? I think I'm gonna go for 10. We'll go for the 10 spotter. 10 spot. Doo -doo. All right, so let's get started with this color. So it's let's call this bone flesh instead. So going with this blended color, I'm gonna put some on the hand at first. And let me know how that music's doing. I have it rigged now where the music's piping in separately, but I'm not hearing it. So if it starts getting too loud, holla please. Holla. Oh no, no, we don't want you dimmed. I just wanted you tilted. Holler at me, yo. That's better. Now I'm not being blinded. So I am super excited. I was taking a look at my Patreon yesterday, and I've had this little goal of I wanted to get streaming equipment for down in my art studio, because what's been happening is I stream upstairs in a separate room for the games where it can be more quiet and I get a better connection for calling in and everything. And also, especially when I'm DMing a game, I need more table space than what I have here at my art table. Plus, I have like the sounds of things. There's the furnace, there's the air conditioner, there's the dehumidifier. That's all stuff I don't want translating into gaming streams. It's stuff I can turn off temporarily for like an hour while we hang out, but not for like 3 to 4 hours. So I've been schlepping my items up and down the stairs, basically. And it's one of those things where I get super, super nervous doing it, because it's one of those things I'm going down the stairs, literally like little lady step, 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 because I don't want to fall. Hello, James Davis. How are you? And it just got to the point where it's also kind of time consuming, because as I bring this down, I have to recalibrate things and all that jazz. So I was like, you know what? I need to squirrel away some funds and look into what it was that I wanted to get, because it was also one of those things. It's like, God forbid I have paint go wonky on me. Trust me, Achille, the sword I have been trying to work with for a couple weeks now, and it has a life of its own. I've tried to fix it. It has gone right back to its old memory. Slightly aggravating, trust me, because this just keeps going on its own. I'll see if I'm going to try one more thing before I might paint this off screen, but I don't know if it's going to take. So I shall try one more thing, see if I can fix the sword, but right now I'm just going to focus on the mini itself, because the sword's not going to take that long at all to paint. Okay, so here we have that mixed tone on his one hand. The other hand is actually on Nightmare. Oh, shoot. That's a Nightmare. I put Nightmare out of reach. So, I will use me paint Vampire Hide. Hey, there we go. I kind of like that, Vampire Hide. So I started looking into things. I wanted to get things that, you know, if paint should go crazy or something spills, the idea of replacing it wouldn't be so, oh my god, like some of the other stuff I have. And then it's going to be one of those things where I'll be able to not have to move things around every single time. So the new equipment's coming tomorrow, and I sent out a note to my patrons this morning thanking them for that, because that is going to make a world of difference for me. Not having to... It takes up a chunk of time, believe it or not. I think all said and done, it's like a half hour before and a half hour after to set up and break down. So I'm getting an hour. I'm finding an hour again. And then Jesse, I just talked about the brushes a little bit earlier. These are a set that Plaid has sent me. They are the Soft Comfort Grip. So that's what these brushes are. It's my first time using them too. I haven't used this type of a brush grip before. So we shall see how it goes. Or he's using a rubber sword. Something along those lines. We shall see. Actually, let me rinse my brush while we're going. So I'm very much looking forward to just being able to... The only thing that's going to be in motion is my laptop once everything gets set up. And then it also gives me something that's a little bit more of the... I don't feel so bad taking it with me to conventions, because I got a Yeti snowball for down here instead. But yeah, that's why I love how great and wonderful my patrons are. They really do help out, and I try and let them know what I'm kind of planning on doing with things as I go along. Oh, Strahd, you don't have a pretty face, do you? You're looking rather grumpy. This has an interesting profile. It's almost like when they cast it, the head's slightly more schmooshed. An hour every time you stream adds... It really does. I mean, that's 2 hours each week. No, it's 4 hours each week. So, yeah, that's time back. That's time I'm happy to get back. So anyways, if my patrons are watching, thank you. It's going to be a huge, huge help for me. Now, he does have his teeth sticking out of his mouth. Except I think I'm going to do that thing where it's like I'm going to wait on the teeth, and I'll do the teeth after I do the wash. Only natural swords would bend because vampires move so fast. They are shallow, Mike. That's just it. It's like his face, his facial features are kind of on themselves, and is a technical term. So he's going to be... Glasses time. It's going to be interesting to get addressed, to say the least. Which, you know, I've had it happen before with minis. It just makes it really, really frustrating. Bend it down a little bit more. Yoink and yoink. Alright, I'm not sure about this brush, folks. It has got... Yep, this I'm not going to use for fine details. Forget it. Nope, switching back to my tried and true. My buddy from the cheapo pack. That has a hair that's like sticking out a little bit more than the other, so I'm going to have to go back and adjust with that one. But, yoink. Raphael brushing is very good. I honestly, and it's one of those things where, I mean, you know how I am. I don't get stuck up on brushes. I'm like, does it get paint on the mini? Great. Wonderful. Let's keep going. I'll try out what's sent to me, of course. Because, you know, hey, they sent something to me. But other than that, it's funny. This is also something where this part of the mini, if I weren't streaming him, I probably would take him upstairs to my living room, because I have 3 beautiful skylights. It's a gorgeous sunny day. All the natural light I could possibly want. Yeah, this is not going to be fun. I think by fault I'm going to have to get his teeth a little bit and then go back and narrow in on those. Yeah, his features are super, super smooshed, which is super, super frustrating. All right, what is going on with this? Hold on, give me a second. I'm not happy with how this is focusing today and the angle I need to get. I think it's because I'm moving the angle myself. Let's bring this up. Hold, please. And again, Like I said, OBS updated on itself, so a lot of my settings got wonkified. That's a technical term too. Let's go back to configure video. Let's fix our autofocus a little bit. Or no, let's take the autofocus off. I want you to be able to see, but I also want to be able to see. Yank. Nope. Closer. Boom, closer. Sorry, folks. I'm just realizing this is not doing what I want it to. Horseshoes and hand grenades. Alright, I think that's about as good as it's gonna get. Okay. Reactivating. Ta-da! Yeah, but I still have to try them out. Like, when it's sent to me, I want to give it a try and see how it is. So if people ask me, what's the story with them? And I'm only using this on the fine detail. I haven't used this on some of the bigger things. So it could be perfectly fine for painting larger details, but for faces and stuff, not so much. Alright, so that is pretty much most of what I want to get here. It is a little bit... It's got these sideburns too, yo. Go back in with that. I mean, he's definitely got a lovely undead glow to him now. I don't know if you're even able to see what I'm doing here because it's so... Yeah, I know, it's... I know, Mike! I'm working on it. Like I said, everything got reset a little bit. I'm also trying to work with while the paint is still wet and then I can fiddle in a little bit. So thank you. I'm aware. Alright, let me put him down for a second. So, and fixed. We shall see. I don't know why this is being so bizarre today. Hands now. Because normally... Pull him out this close, so... I wonder if... This may be feline. Haha, yep, that's what. Okay, there we go. That's more comfort for me. So that's with the flesh tone on there. He really does have some smooshed up features. Quite frankly, the eyes I'm just going to have to make some sort of a glowing thing because they're not really evenly defined sockets, so that's going to be interesting to play with. Alright, and then... Remember, Mike, I'm streaming, painting, and talking at the same time. Multitasking. Can only do so much at the same time. So I'm going to move on to getting his hair, and I'm going to do Smoky Ink. I didn't want to do straight up black because then it's going to be too much dark, 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 dark. So we'll do that. At least I have the correct camera. Yeah, this one. Let me paint in front of this one. That would be funny. So I'm going to go into moving on to Smoky Ink and putting that on the hair. Which, let me go back. Where did I put? One, two. One, try the other one that had the... No, not you. Where'd the other one go? I think I just chucked the other one so it's not even near me now. Alright, so I'm going to take the 3 for the hair. That's what I'm thinking. Like, the glowing eyes, that intense look to him might be the way to sort of fix what's happened with casting. Because one eye is wider. Like, one eye's like this and the other one's like that. It's a little wonky. So I'm going to see what I can do to sort of work around all of that. This is being finicky today and it's bugging me. Yoink. So here I'm going in with Smoky Ink. Now my Smoky Ink is almost a glaze consistency-wise. Same thing like with my black that I got from Vallejo. It also has like a more watered down texture to it. But I like it for hair because you can actually see the shadow layer come through better when I use it for hair. So it kind of takes a little guesswork out, which is very much appreciated. You can kind of see it happening there. Excuse me, Strahd, I need to get your tips. It's hairdresser time. Alright, I'm gonna go back to my other brush. Going back to my other brush. Luscious tan, ruby lips, hair color so natural. Only your Undertaker knows for sure. Maybe he's winking. Maybe it's because they have that post shoved in a very interesting spot when he first arrives. I don't know if you guys remember that shot when I took him out of the packaging, but holy moly. I felt bad for this mini. Here's a post. Right up the, where it matters. Yeah, I definitely like working with the Smoky Ink for hair. So if you have Smoky Ink and yours is actually a thicker consistency, I will recommend that you have fun and thin it out a little bit, because you might like the results a lot better. No, I do need to go to an even smaller brush, so going back to my tried and trues. You're the one I just tried, and you have that funky little hair at the tip, which does not help me at all. Heterochromia would be different. Yep. The two different eyes. One blue, one green. Remember, okay, name that movie. One blue, one green for eye color. Wears a star. Rides his horse backwards. This is thematically appropriate too for Halloween, by the by. Name that movie. Strahd, darling. Your ends are a little frayed, hun. Let's see if anyone picks up that movie reference. Points for you if you do. So actually, doing the whole painting up Strahd and it being Halloween time is honestly where I was like, you know, let's do something fun for the craft off, the guild build item. And that's where I was like, let us do Bonewhite. Alright, bear with me. I need to hold my breath. Can't speak right now. Not the Princess Bride. Nope. David Bowie does, yes. Yep, but it's not the actor. It's a quote from the movie. And it's a really good movie. And I think I might watch it later. Again, because I'm obsessed with it. Has something to do with magic. I'll give you that hint. There's magic to it. But not the Princess Bride. Nope, 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 nope. I think this is the first mini I've painted with sideburns. Come to think of it. Did they give him a Widow's Peak? I think this is supposed to be a Widow's Peak here. Practical magic! There we go. Winner, winner, ding, ding, ding. Remember the sheriff guy? He's got one blue, one green, and she wrote out this big list when she was little of this person who just would never exist because remember they're cursed in love type of thing. But lo and behold, he was out there. But yeah, that's that's where my eyes just went to that one, or that's where my mind went with the eyes. Okay, I'm gonna put another layer through the back here. Darken it just a little bit. And then we should be good. Is the hair. And we'll take it from there. So, hello, October 2nd. What? How? October? Hello, Dan Dillon. How are you today, sir? Dan is a fellow Kobold Press DM on the Twitch channel. Ooh, I got to talk about Last Air, too, because that was an interesting episode on Sunday. So, yes, come and watch both of us. We both have games. Mine's Sunday nights starting at 8 p.m. His is Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. He does the World Tree Burns. I do the Last Air. And then Mondays they have like Dungeon Master tip type show at 8 p.m. That one's only an hour long. Ours are 3 each, give or take. But Sunday, I was getting ready for my players and running The Last Dare. I had prepped and everything like that. It's like 7:50, so 10 minutes before airing. And out of my 6 players, 2 I knew would not be there. One unfortunately cannot come because he had some pretty serious stuff go down, unbeknownst to all of us. And Jesse, I hope you're doing okay, buddy. And it's one of those things where we're like, okay, so it's just, you know, the DM and 3 players, and it was actually kind of a significant transition to the campaign itself. And then poor Will, our producer, he goes, do we need to cancel this? Because we had to cancel the week before because his internet was acting so wonky that he wasn't able to hold a stable stream. So I was like, nope, you know what? We'll play. It's going to be a mix of backstories and progress, and we'll see what can happen here. So Sunday night was basically my going completely off the cuff. I didn't plan for any of that. I planned for the encounter. And even the encounter, I had to tweak significantly. Because I was expecting one count, got a very different count for players. But this is why I love my players. My players are stupidly talented role players. And we looked into some things that were just lovely. Michael gets a lovely, it's a Ghost Knight, right? Dan? Ghost Knight? He plays a fighter, the Ghost Knight, in the Kobold press genre of D&D 5e things. So he gets this mount at 3rd level, and he and I had talked about this. I'm going to attempt eyebrows. Oh, there we go. He and I had talked about this particular mount because it has in the book, you know, up to the DM, you can ooch it if you need to. And he had in his backstory this little bobcat who had been his companion when he was sort of off on his own, but then sadly had passed away. So it's kind of like, you know, thank you, Dan. Let's play with this. Let's try and incorporate a little bit here. So first we were kind of looking at Panther, which, you know, it was okay. But my gut was kind of leaning towards Dire Wolf. And then we realized together, oh, we can have some fun with this. So what I ended up doing, I actually totally cheated on this, and I put some of the eyebrow stuff into the eye sockets because I know I'm going to glow those out. What I did was I took a Dire Wolf and I took a Panther and I blended them together. So we had the stats of the Dire Wolf. I took the attack out as well as the pack tactics because not necessary for the Dire Bobcat. Threw in the attacks for the Panther and adjusted the stats on that one according to what the Dire Wolf would have been. And he got to play it out on Sunday night, and actually we're both quite pleased with how little Czar is working. So that was fun to get to explore. The other fun thing to get to explore was Eowyn and her backstory. Hello, Base Hunter. Hello, the Maharishi. Ahoy. We're sailing today. So then, Eras, thank you. Thank you, sweetheart. I like to play and I like to DM. I like both, honestly. I like storytelling is what it boils down to. All right, so that takes care of his hair and his flesh for now. I'm going to work on getting this part of the fur more furry, and then we'll move on to doing the shield and stuff. And honestly, if I don't finish him, because I'll probably take this to like 1:30 today, if I don't finish him on screen, I am going to be finishing him off screen, and then we'll jump over to, I need to do that vote for the patrons. Speaking of patrons, we got to figure out which of the Dark Crystal miniatures is going to be done next week, because I have the board game and the miniatures are, I love them. But my patrons every month get to vote as to which one gets painted. So next week we're going to have a Dark Crystal mini. Which one? I don't know. But we shall find out. Okay, so for that, where is it? There it is. I'm going to take, how appropriate. We're just talking about direwolves. I'm going to take Wolf. Aras! Stop! Aris is flustering me. I'm going to take the Wolf Gray, and I'm going to use that as the dry brush highlight on the fur over his one shoulder. So I'm not going to use any of those brushes. Those are not the type of texture that I need. I need something that's more of a flathead base. And I just got Ace of Base in my head. I mean, yes, I sing with Cantriell, but not everyone watches Dawnbringers, so that's kind of my under the radar thing. Yes, I'm flustering. Easily. Gah. All right, so taking the Wolf Gray, I'm going to just very gently start picking up this texture here. Because this is Sombre Gray that was on there before. And I just want those highlights to pop out a little bit further than what is going on now. But now you can see the texture coming through. Is there a mini of Hub? No, this is the Nixonovitsky. This is not for the more recent Dark Crystal. This is for the original movie Dark Crystal. Before I say goodbye, someone remind me, go get Dark Crystal. I'll grab the board game and I'll show you what the minis look like at the very least. But yeah, that's something I thought would be fun for the month of October, is break out the Dark Crystal minis and see which of them gets the nod. Just carefully going through. I'm doing another light round. There you go. See? I'm going to move to a narrower brush to get this one little spot. One spot. Ah, I love that more women are playing D&D and more women are DMing too. Yes, it's very cool. It's very fun. It's just fun to see more people getting involved. Full stop. And different styles are coming out now, which is, for me, I love seeing how different people do different approaches for their games. I really, honestly, like that for me is, yes, please show me more of what's out there. So it's great. Play on Twitch, great women, that's good. It's always good to play with other people and get to know other people and other styles and go from there. Play nice, there we go. All right, so that gets the Wolf Gray. I'm gonna move on to doing the shield now. And the shield has this pretty cool double detail. So what I'm going to do is the shield itself is going to be this darker silver. And then for this part, I'm doing more of a coppery accent color is the plan there. And we'll move along to that because that really did not take too long. That I'm happy with. That's good. Yeah. He's standing in a puddle of mighty solid water. Yeah, you gotta love blue tack. Comes in very handy. Alright, the shield itself is going to be Gunmetal from the Vallejo color line. Gunmetal. Shake. But what was I doing? Talking about Sunday's game. That's what it was. So, the other thing I really was happy to explore was more of AOL's past. We don't have too much of the backstory for Faye. It's the pronoun that's used for her particular PC. So literally, like, right before we were about to go live, I'm like, okay, so backstories. And she very quickly shot me information about Eowl's brother, Leith. And I mean, I'm like, quick, writing this down. And then we go live. And then it's time to have Leith come out and interact with Eowl. Yeah, that was just my, let's interact together. But I do like how it kind of started getting things in motion for her PC a little bit more. So it's one of those things I'm like, well, if we're down a couple players, I think we're just going to default to somehow working in a little bit more of their backstories each time, or arc development of their individual stories to highlight them a little bit more. So theoretically, that's the idea. We shall see. It was also our 8th episode, so we're now halfway through officially the 16 total for the last air, and then we'll see what happens. I'm honestly, I'm excited to see what happens, because what I originally started out with, completely out the window. Doing something very different than what I had anticipated, and I'm actually loving it. They have come up with ideas that have completely shifted the approach I was going to take. But I'm sitting there watching them do stuff as we're playing and mentally thinking, okay, yep, this is changing it. This is going to be really cool. Because working with them and seeing what they're thinking about, what they're anticipating, what their theories are, that's fun. That's a lot of fun. And Dan knows all too well where I'm going with most of this because we kind of bounce ideas off of each other. Which is fun. I can be like, hey, is this insane? That's one bit of advice I definitely would give to people as DMs. Find yourself a group of DMs you trust and enjoy their style and use them as sounding boards and work with each other because you get more out of it that way. So there's the shield with the Silva. Just checking the edge on this one. Yeah, this needs a little bit on the edge here. Now that I'm looking. All right, let me try and get this. I am going to need to get quiet. There we go. Well, and that's the funny thing, doesn't it? The other part of his hand is on Nightmare. So it'll make more sense once I glue them together. We'll have Strahd intact. All right, so that's the gunmetal on the shield. Now I want to get the coppery tone. And jumping in the puddles, right? Who knew that Strahd was such a light-hearted fellow? When he's not battling the others, he's jumping in puddles. Having a grand old time. Tinny Tin. I'm going to go for Tinny Tin now on that raised bit of the shield. I'm not a font of talent, I'm just me. I'm catching up on the chat right now. And then we had Slain. Jim cracks me up. Jim comes in, and this is before we knew that we weren't going to have everyone on deck. He goes, he's going to feel like bothering goblins. I'm like, goblins? What are we talking about here? But I really liked how Jim played his whole leveling up of Slain to level 3, and there was this meditation thing, and ended up going to this stream grotto that did not exist until I started describing it. And I actually went to this state park I went to in high school. It was gorgeous. It's still gorgeous. I mean, it's still there. It's not like it went away. But I remember going hiking in this state park and just these really old trees. Some of them had been there since before, like the Revolutionary War and things like that. And there was a specific place where there is this stream bed that dips in about 20 feet down from the edge of everything else. As I'm gesturing with the mini. Good. So I kind of tapped into that memory to start describing this grotto. Oh, there's a little bit of silver down there too. I'm going to have to go back for that. For what Slain was doing for his meditation and taking on Gloomwalker for a ranger. So yeah, that was pretty cool to also play that one out. But again, there's all of them. They're all just so... I might have to... I'm going to pull a hard frame. Sorry, this is an out of frame shot. There's no way I'm getting that without pulling this in close to me. So it is super fascinating to see where they go. Focus. With their PCs and what they're doing with it. So it really is just... Oh, that would be cool. Give Strahd a chainsaw... Give Strahd a chainsaw hand. Evil did. But no, for what we had, what kind of got sprung on us, they really did a great job Sunday night. I was exhausted by the time the game was done. It's one of those things, I didn't realize how stressed I was until we said goodbye and then my shoulders went yoink. I still have like a slightly stiff neck in the back of this one shoulder blade. But boy, I tell ya, it keeps you on your toes. That it do. See, I don't think I'm going to give him I don't want him to look too ancient. He's got some lighter tones right now as it is that I'm going to leave. But I don't want to give him a salt and pepper effect. So it's more the like sun-kissed, which sounds ironic, but like a dark brown with some sun-kissed highlights in there. although not really sun-kissed. Or maybe they were before, you know, the unfortunate event. I'm just looking around here with a shield. There is a little bit more that could use some silver down there. Pardon me. Yes! Exactly! Evil Dead! Guess the microphone didn't pick that one up. Total Evil Dead mode. And yes, I have seen Evil Dead, but I haven't seen it since God. Oh, I'm not saying how long it's been. Nope, 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 nope. It's been a while. It's been a while. There, you can see right there. That little spot. What a twist. A twist on the wrist. He's also got this chain thing going up on top, so I'm going to make the chain. I think I'll make the chain. I'm going to make this button silver on the shoulder. The chain's going to be the tinny tin. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But it was a great game. Now I have to sit at some point this week. Probably Thursday and Friday, Saturday. They have officially reached the Grove of Eternal Autumn, which was pretty much my brainchild. It's not something that exists in Tales of the Old Margrave, but I've positioned it so it will incorporate elements from Tales of the Old Margrave. And I'm thinking, I'm going to make the chain silver, and I'm going to make that tinny tin, because there's this neat thing over here. So yeah, I basically kind of have to take with what they're working with and what they're sort of locking onto. So that way, I know there's no sun in Barovia. That's what I was saying, tongue-in-cheek. But we'll see. They have a lot of NPCs to meet. They have a lot of lore about the Grove of Eternal Autumn to figure out. And they have some investigative work to do regarding what is going on. Let's see. Starting a campaign. A little to my players. You're going to send them to Barovia. Oh, gonna be their own doing. How? Yes, I'd love to hear, Base Hunter. How are you going to do this to them? Because I know you say it's of their own doing, but, you know. Well, there's a reason why it's the Grove of Eternal Autumn, because it's always autumn there. Peak autumn. Like the autumn where the leaves have turned to their glorious colors. The harvest is ready. And all that loveliness. Basically, it's my favorite time of year. But it's always like that. Until now. When mysteriously leaves are, because that's just it, the leaves aren't falling, they're just the color of autumn, and now leaves are starting to fall, trees are starting to lose their foliage completely, which has never happened, and the priestess of the grove is also falling ill. So the players are gonna have to try and figure out the who, what, where, why, when of all of this. How are we doing the time? 12:42. So yeah, that I'm very excited to toy with and play around with in this case. I also have this leather strap. I'll do the buckle after I get the brown on. Yeah, peak autumn is totally my aesthetic. Except I don't run around in Uggs boots and, what is it, the Uggs boots, the puffy vest, and the Starbucks in hand. It's not my style. That's not my style. Nope, nope, nope. There are buttons on here. Hold on, I gotta look them closely. There are buttons on this waistcoat I want to get. Nom 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 nom. So yeah, I gotta figure out this week, basically get a little bit more things established so that depending on where they go and who they're going to meet, that will help guide the adventure. Because you know, oh yeah, I am putting glorious gold for the buttons. Buttons! Nope, it's not global warming, Mike. There's a hell of a lot more to it than that. I mean, good grief. The Margrave itself. There's a button. There's a button. There's a button. Button, button, button. Is that all the buttons? I believe that is all the buttons. Yeah, that's all the buttons. Now I have these little guys to get in here. That's the other thing I wanted the Glorious Gold for. The buttons on this part, too. A little bit right there. There's also this little cross piece here. Anything further there? I think that's it for that. Yeah, that's it for that. So the little details there, and I've got this strap, which I forgot about, so now I need a brown. Not parasite brown. Tan. I want tan brown. So, love sandbox games. It's kind of turned into a sandbox game, but it's like little. How do I explain how I run this game? It's sandbox, but it's also like a whole bunch of little sandboxes in the vicinity of each other. So each session I kind of give them like this section to explore and have like 8 different things up my sleeve just in case, and they go from there. And then once that sandbox has kind of been played around in to their heart's content, shift them to a new one, which has been fun. The only time where it got a little bit out of their control is when I moved them down river, because they need to get further into the Margrave itself. That's really the only time where it's like, nope, you just go overboard. Sorry! But it was interesting. And it's fun to see how they interact with the NPCs. Which ones they take to, and the ones they just are like, oh, okay, you're there. It works. It's fun. Alright, let me turn him a little bit so I can get the strap. His strap, not get the strap. God, that sounds like an old school marm. Gotta get the strap, boy. I don't know if you're seeing this. There you go. I'm gonna go back in and hit the silver on top of this, because there are some belt buckle things. It's a myriad of... the Margrave is amazing. I love the Margrave that Kobold's pulled together. It's an environment where I could very easily run game after game after game after game after game in it, because of how cool it is. It's infinite. It's endless. The concepts you can play around with, the places you can go. You know, you can keep it more to the northern road and have encounters on the various inns that are along that road. Or you can go more towards the west side of the Margrave and jump into one of the Griffin Towers. And it's truly... it's a fascinating place. And the forest itself is an NPC. Which, for player purposes, makes it very interesting in terms of how it's interacting with them. And what's happening with them. It's truly, really a well done concept. Thumbs up, kobolds. Major thumbs up. Alright, so that gets the leather strap in there and done. I'm going to jump back over to silver and get those closures. So I think, have I? What I really need to do is put links in so you can get the access to the books and stuff off of Amazon if you're looking to buy them, or you can go to koboldpress.com. Do that as well. Here we go. But they have a player's guide, and they have Tales of the Old Margrave. Player's guide has new races, and it has couple of class things like the druids. There's the circle of the owl. This is really cool. Oh, thank you so much for stopping in, Johnny. Ooh, okay, best of luck to you, Johnny. Good luck with the back operation. I know all too well how that can go, and hoping everything is healing quickly for you after the fact. So good luck. Truly, good luck on that. Take care of yourself. My goodness. Yes, thank you, Aris. That sums it up beautifully. Nat 20s on the whole thing. Alright, so I'm going to get the Depelt Bokul. Theoretically. There we go. Phenomenal cosmic powers. Itty bitty space. Yeah, that is small. And then... More buckle here. I think that does it. Just a touch. Just a touch. The slightest touch for the buckle. Alright, let me see. What do I have going on here now? I think that gets all the high points. I am... Damn it. I am going to try one more time with this and see what I can do about the sword, but it's got a strong memory is the problem. The other thing is with his feet, don't worry, I will be getting all this blue stuff off, and then I'm going to paint his feet separately. Because he's in an interesting position to try and paint. So what I'm going to do now is... I'm actually going to do a wash on his face before I do anything further with him to get his face finished up. So I'm going to go in now and I'm going to start doing some of the highlight stuff on the other parts, like working on the cape and whatnot. So we're gonna move on to that. We're gonna start doing highlights on the fabrics and such. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna call this at 1:30, I think, because my eyes are starting to get a little fun and cross-eyed. So, all right, that's Tales of the Old Margrave. I will be gushing about that and waxing poetic for quite a while. I have been working on my Zobek build. Oh, that's ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. A lot of you are also on the terrain build stream, so you'll be happy to hear this. A lot of people are asking me about where I was getting the different supplies for the builds that I'm doing. I have on my website, I've created a very specific page just for the items I get for my Kobold Press Zobek commission. So if you go to www.thecraftingmuse.com, you can check out the tab that says Kobold Press Zobek City Supplies type of thing. And you'll see pictures of all the supplies that I've purchased so far. Click on the picture, it'll take you to a link to my Amazon storefront. And that is something where if you purchase from there, I get a nice little commission kickback to me at no extra charge to you. It's the same price regardless if you use that or not. But you'll be able to see what I am using and how I'm using it as I start doing these terrain builds. So I thought that would be a good way to do it. Cloudy with the... You know? Yeah, I see where you're going with that one. The face is going to need a little bit more TLC because of something happened with its casting. Alright, so I'm going to go through and use Hexed Lichen. I like it. Yeah, that does. And I'm just going to use this to edge around the cape and bring out the higher points. You know how I am with fabric. I like the fabric. I have fun with fabrics. Give me a fabric, I'm a happy girl. They're fun to explore. So I'm picking up the edge. I'm just very lightly feathering this to get a blend going. And I am trying another one of those brushes to see. This one's kind of working. Kind of, sort of. It's not really popping out with the lighting right now, but it's giving me the effect I want, for sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and get the edges first with this. Yeah, I don't know. These might be better for larger paints. I'm not nuts about this for finer work detail. I will say that about these paintbrushes. So there we go. They seem like a cool concept, don't get me wrong. They do seem like a very cool concept. I'm just not nuts with the execution of them. I have a mini with a spear that has that problem, right? I have a couple minis where, like, yes, you fixed it and everything like that, and it's one of those things you're just like, oh, come on, just play nicely. Just play nicely. One of those things where hindsight, they probably could have had this as you attach the sword after the fact. But it's not the case, obviously. So it's just, it's become interesting as a result. I'll take some of this and catch the upper portion of this fold. Kind of cheating it a little bit. I'm actually using the light reflection as it is to help me go back in and play up that curvature. Which does give me the look I want. Hurrah. And I'm one of those people where give me fabric and I will be here all day. So, so there's that. Again, I'm going to get the edges here. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing which one of the Dark Crystal minis gets voted on by the patrons. That'll be fun to see. And a paint. Now I do have it as a to watch on my list, but man, time is getting away from me quickly is the problem. There's a whole list of things I want to be watching, but I'm not really able to because I'm going, and honestly, a lot of it is also that my kiddos have soccer season in full throttle mode right now. So breathing times that I do have, I'm actually off and running to soccer practice or games. I did run BB's Place for my two boys on Saturday after their soccer games, per their request. They wanted to play some D&D, and the youngest said, can you take us to BB's, Mom? So I was like, oh, you know what? They don't ask me to do stuff like that often. So it's one of those things where you're like, yes, I'll do BB's Place for you. Literally, we drew up the characters in like a half hour with the two of them. And then I just went from memory on my end and ran a quick, it's like an hour and a half little session that I did with them because, again, they had just played soccer, both were tired. But, oh my gosh. We had a fun time. One was a tabaxi bard with catitude. He was very full of himself. And this is my youngest one doing it. I come from a rich family. And I don't know about this place. And yes, he was affecting an accent too, so I'm like, Bob. It was freaking adorable, quite frankly. And the other one was playing a druid named Pete, who was raised by bears. And Pete was very succinct. Wouldn't say much beyond, monosyllabic responses. So it was very much an odd couple setup with Ellis. What was the name for the bard? I swear he made it difficult on purpose. Alois. Alois was the name of the bard. So Alois was just being contrary and snobbish. And Pete's like, yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, okay, let's do it. Yeah, I'll have some cake. Basically, I ran it where they arrived at BB's. They were being hired on to help as extra hands, like pretty much what happens with everyone. My hand's cramping. Ouch. And they were like, yeah, sure, we'll help. We'll keep an eye on the place. And I had it where there was a birthday party going on. And when the birthday cake came out, the Jermaine, he was celebrating his 278th birthday. Elf. And they bring out the birthday cake. Everyone's singing happy birthday to certain, whatever, how that song goes. And Jermaine's on the last air. Jermaine was blowing out the candles when all of a sudden he gets a face full of cake. Because out popped these imps who had been hiding in the cake layers up to no good. So basically they fought a bunch of imps and got them, saved the birthday party, and yeah, that's pretty much how I ran the game for them. They really enjoyed it, and they won another session. So now I gotta figure out what else I'm gonna do with them at BB's. Because for those of you not familiar with it, BB's Place is a speakeasy. So that's, that's interesting. But no, they were thrilled to bits. They finally got to play there and check things out. This is going to be one of those things you'll see this color better in natural light. It's not really showing up the color tones, but You have a warmer purple and a cooler purple working together. It's just, you kind of get the glimpse of it right there. So that's how we spent our Saturday. We did their soccer games. They both won. Both their teams won. Came home, made their characters, ordered Chinese, played a little bit, dinner came, ate, played a little bit more, and then it was bedtime mode. It's actually a very chill Saturday. We had a lot of fun together doing it. And they were just absolute loves. And to their credit, they're like, let's go downstairs and we'll get the pieces set up. I'm like, no. I'm like, kiddos, I love you, but Mama's tired. Mama's very tired. Mama doesn't want to get into the miniatures and everything. Because I have all of it from the castle. It's there. But setting up with them is you take something out and they're looking at it for the next half hour and they're chatting and they're talking it over, which is wonderful and I love it and I enjoy their enthusiasm. But that eats up a lot of time, and it was already going to be like 5:30 at that point. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Pause. Dungeon Matron, you have a cat named TeknoAxe. I love it. Thank you, Kill. It was one of those. I was trying to think of what could be a good kid-friendly, but also take place in sort of a restaurant-like environment. I'm like, birthday parties. So it was really just, it was too dang stinking cute how they took to the idea of it. And they went right into it. So, I don't know. We'll see. I have an encounter that they might get a kick out of. I am not going to share it, though, just in case it's an encounter I decide to use with adults. But, yeah, it was fun to take them there and fun to have them meet. They met Sebastian, they met Evie. They got to meet BB. And, Mickey, which are sort of like the 4 big NPCs of BB's place. BB obviously being the most noted because, you know, it's her place. But they were funny about Sebastian. They were extremely suspicious of Sebastian. You know, he's the bouncer and he's got this deep voice and he's half orc. So he's got this underbite with the tusks and everything. And our little bard was not such a fan. He thought he was a little uncouth and unsophisticated. That was the word he used. My 8-year-old used unsophisticated. You're a rather unsophisticated fellow. Hi, Scott. Well, we've been going for an hour now. So it's just been getting like the finer details going on Strahd. And then we'll do the whoosh on him once that's all done. So the cape is pretty much... Yeah, that's really where I want it to be. I'm just annoyed it's not popping out as drastically. Just get a little bit through here. She says, it's where I want it to be. Let me paint some more. Yeah, that's how I do. That's how I do. I will say, our oldest is running Dungeons and Doggies for us. If you have kiddos and you have not come across this yet, get it. Oh my god, it's been so much. It's so darn adorable. It really is just a really sweet. You want to meet everybody. I love Sebastian. He and Evie, they're probably the most fun to play out. His wife Evie is this little blonde southern lady, and she's got an interesting way of running things because she's got her own little closet with like all these cool things like people leave behind. You know, sometimes people at hotels, they just kind of forget things. You know, it's no big deal. And she'll share her discoveries with people, and she takes their names and everything like that, and she sees a lot more than she lets on to. But she's fun for running gags. I purposely play her a little ditzy, so there are times she'll interact with PCs, and she's like, I'm sorry, what? Like when we had the Lexan on there. There was an elephant in the room. And she had no idea what to do with the elephant in the room. So yeah, that's Evie. Oh god, Evie is just so much fun. Eris has been. How many times have you played at BB's now? 3 times? I think you're like the most attended PC at BB's. Evie's just fun to play out. And then you have Mickey. Mickey's sort of your tough New Yorker chick, which is fun to do. I like playing her out as well. Who else do I have fluttering? Well, and then there's BB. And then there's just BB. BB is a fun voice to jump into. You just drop her down, and it's this slow, methodical accent that comes out, and she's she likes to speak in double entendres. She's actually an NPC I would love to flip to a PC somewhere in some game and play her out, because she is my near and dear. Love playing her. Evie's just ever so much fun. She's, you know, well, she's really like a kleptomaniac. So, you know, she'll go and she'll check out those rooms, and everyone's like, oh, you have a Lost Mountain? Yeah, she has a Lost and Fan. The boring stuff goes in that one. You know, the more interesting things, they kind of go back in her closet and get inventoried, and people seem to need something, well, then she'll pull those back up, and if no one's claimed it in about a month, or as far as she's concerned, that's free game. That's something she can just put to use whenever she needs to, you know, because, you know, it'll benefit everyone if there's something cool left behind. She also takes down names that she likes, because Evie's also pregnant. Why I put that in, I don't know, but there are certain names she's like, oh, that's a really pretty name, and she'll pull out a separate book and she writes it down. But when we had Vomit the Goblin come in, that was the most fun. That was Nerdarchus Ted. That was his PC at the castle. So he comes in with this goblin. I was going to say gremlin. No, not a gremlin. This goblin named Vomit. And it went from there. So he comes up to Evie, and Ted, you know, in Ted's voice is, you know, she's taking names. He goes, well, I'm Vomit. And she's like, I'm sorry, honey. What was that? You know, Vomit. Oh, are you not feeling? Do I need to get you a bucket? Do you need a bucket? Because we can get you a bucket if you're not feeling well, hon. Maybe we can get you something like some soda to settle your tummy. If you got an upset stomach, you know, really good at that. And it just turned into pun after pun after pun, to the point where it's like phones had just been installed in BB's place, by the way. So Evie was she was like, the phone rings because she goes, hello? Yeah, no, it's not that someone's vomited on the dance floor. There is someone named Vomit on the dance floor. Stand your ground. You don't have to come in with a bucket and the mop. We're good. Yeah, no, really, I promise. No, there is no vomit. Well, there is vomit. There's just not like, look, no one upchecked, okay? I had so much fun playing around with that. It was one of those things. Mike, if you could leave her exclusive to me, I would very much appreciate that, because Evie's one of my girls. You can do a similar concept, but please leave Evie to me. So she's fun because she lets me get into my little playful, sarcastic self that I will do every so often. And it's a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun to bring her out and have her interact with the NPCs as they come in. Because it's Sebastian and then it's Evie that they get to meet, is sort of the order of operations. We have had a slightly different setup once, and it's just clean up in room 3. That was just it. We had to worry about Vomit's room, people thinking that like they had to bring in extra stuff because it was, you know, there was Vomit. Vomit was in the room. Vomit the Goblin was in the room, but we had a maid thinking there was Vomit in the room. It was too much fun, and they had a dance off. The guys it was this table full of guys, and they were having a dance off, and they were having a blast with it, to the point they were actually popping up, and they were doing the moves that their PCs were doing, and they were giving them names. I was dying. That was such a fun night. The mixing, what was it? The mixing bowl? Mixing bull, that's what it was. We had a Minotaur, and his dance move was the mixing bull. So he was taking his battle axe, had turned it upside down, and was like doing this stirring motion, and then there was this hip motion going on too. And he goes, and he's doing this new move called the mixing bull, and dead. That broke me. That absolutely broke me. And then he started it, and then they went around the table doing their things. I think even Ted had his own little dance move thing, which I forget what it was, but oh my god. That night was a riot. That was so much fun. So as I'm chattering away, I forgot, I took Imperial Blue and I just did it on the lower part of his waistcoat to bring out a little bit more of those details. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to do cold gray on the pants to pick up the folds. It was a fun night. I have discovered BB's is one of those games where that's probably was going to be my go-to impromptu off-the-cuff one-shot, because people let their guard down with it, and they have a lot of fun with playing things out in ways you wouldn't have even expected. It's also one of those games where people are like, oh, I've been thinking about playing. I'm like, then that's where you play it. It's one of those places where if there's a race or a class you've been thinking about, try it out there. Because there's really no right or wrong NPC or PC to play there because of how it's set up. Alright, so I'm taking this cold gray and I'm just going over the folds of the pants here. And it's honestly this world that's living in my head. So for me, it's very easy to jump into BBs and just embody it again and introduce people to it again and meeting all the NPCs. It's wonderful. And the other thing I get the biggest kick out of is, like Eris's PC, Tamarin, she's an NPC when Eris isn't there. Tamarin will show up and she'll do her thing and she'll jump in and she helps out BB. Yes, I've been working on the accent for her. Which I love. Like, I think probably about 85% of the PCs have asked to remain as NPCs and then to be able to come back in if they ever get a chance to play again, which I am all for. And it's gotten to a point now where BB kind of sees it. This is her, it's her little growing family, which gives her all the more reason for wanting to protect her place. It's all very symbiotic. But yeah, that's BB's. BB's is definitely my baby in terms of stories and campaigns that I've pulled together. It's completely different than Last Air. It's far more lighthearted and irreverent and explosive. We do have some exploding things happening. But yeah, that's one of my... I love running it for people and seeing what they do with it. Oh, please let me reach you. Okay, there we go. Get up here. Yeah, so now you can see those details a lot more on his pantaloons. Spittle is optional.
Yes, you know, it's Tinny. She looks like this. And she's got this going. And it's so much fun! And she has her own little, like, laboratory down in the basement.
It's a special place. I love BBs. I'm going to do the same thing with the cold gray. I'm going to get this shoulder. Yeah, and get the edging. So yeah, that's BBs. It's insane. It's hysterical. It's lovely. I always enjoy running a session. And it literally has gotten to the point now where it's just, oh, you want to play BBs? Let's kind of go back into the file X in my head and we're off and running. So it's great. It really is. And we've had things where it's like NPCs that I had no idea would be demonized. Not literally, but become the bad guy. Have become the bad guy. And ones who were supposed to be the bad guy, they've redeemed. Players have redeemed them and they've brought them into the fold and now they're double agents. It's really cool stuff. I'm trying to think of other really good... Tamarin is awesome.
Tamarin likes explosives. Tamarin is excited. She wants things to start blowing up a lot more.
Hello, Viper! Yeah, no, he's still standing in his puddle. He's poodle. Alright, I'm going to take Sombre Gray to the boots. And the boots. But yeah, let's see. Have a halfling ranger named Ranger Smith. And a bear named Yogi. I love it. That's cool. That really is fun. Oh, we have more. Halfling charlatan named Cherub. Disguises herself as a human child. Tricks people out of their money a lot. That's amazing. Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so, other characters. Who was one of the voices? Is that you, Dungeon Matron? So, okay, then we have, well, there's Camp Triel. Camp Triel is this very in your face, tired of putting up with bullshit type of stuff, and she will tell it like it is. She's a bard. Bard Ranger. Multi-class. And I have a lot of fun playing her against my buddy Jeremy. He plays Talmud. This is the Dawnbringers tomorrow night, if you want to come and check it out live. 8:30 p.m. in Terrain Domain. Ding! She and Talmud will fight like cats and dogs, but it's actually all very good-natured between the two of them. We may seem like they're at each other's throats more often than not, but it's fully It's that whole thing where it's like they do it out of love, even though they would never admit to it outright. So that's been fun to kind of explore that one. So I'm getting the edges here on the boots, as well as the folds. Actually, I'm going to switch brushes. I want to do this more as a dry brush because there's so many of them. So that's Cantrial. I just finished with Talia. Talia is basically the foreign exchange student that we had when I was in college. She had this very thick French accent. And goof that I am, decided that a similar accent was going to be used for my Alcide NPC Cal in The Last Air. So you have Cal, and his voice is deeper, and he draws out his words more, but that is how Cal will speak. I don't think I'm going to have the rest of the community speaking that way, though, because that's going to get really old really fast. And because I know I'm going to be using that black that isn't a wash, but it is a wash on these boots, I'm not worried that this gray is popping out more, because I know it's going to even itself out literally in the wash. So there's Cal, and then I have Mama Rihanna. She's another fun NPC in The Last Air. She is this
little old lady. She's very drunk. Usually she's having her fun in the pubs. She likes her beer and she likes her cake. And she has this fun way of talking, so things go up and they go back down.
Everyone was convinced that she was Baba Yaga too. Nope. Nope, she is not. She's this little druid lady who lives in the Margrave.
And we have a Gearforged named Maurice. But she happily calls him Metal Man. And if you get her in her cups, she hiccups every so often.
That was fun to play out. She's one who I thought was going to be like a one and done. Brought her back because people had so much fun with her. She's out of the picture for now. She might reappear later on down the line in the campaign. Yeah, I like doing the different accents. It just takes things to different levels for me. It also helps me keep who the heck I'm playing straight. Like, which one is this now? Where am I going with this now? Oh yeah, that one. That's who I'm playing. So yeah, it's good. It's fun. I enjoy it. But yeah, this is going to get a wash, so this is going to get muted down big time, so you'll get your depths back in there. The rest I am going to be doing probably a gnome oil wash, except for on the upper portion of the body. That's going to be a different story. We'll do something different there. But we're getting those points that I've been wanting to get. Like I said, the boots I'm going to have to do separately as well. And the sword I'm going to attack later. I'm going to attempt one more time. Let's see. Who else do I have that's a fun accent? Oh, well, I do have Russian character. You know, she's there. She comes out every so often, uploads the voice, and away she goes. And she's very, you know, she kind of just does her own thing, and she kind of wanders with her thoughts. And Ryorik, he also has the Russian accent, and it's much lower voice, but right now Ryorik is not doing so well. He is still back at the old chick village, trying to heal from his injuries from being thrown overboard the boat. So, I have the Russian accent in there. Really, I can't do Creole. I have tried Creole. God help me. I wish I could do the Creole for BB's place, because that would be fantastic for Calamus. That's what I want. Calamus. And, God, I just realized I have two different NPCs named Cal. But the names are different. So, I would love to be able to do Creole. Not so much. Yeah, it's honestly an Australian. Ooh, I have tried. I slip way too much with Australian. So it's one of those, you know, Australian, New Zealand, I can't really capture those as well. But, you know, I do what I can do, when I can do, all of that jazz. And all that jazz. I think what I'm going to do is move on to wash mode. Yeah, let's get some wash on him. He's dried enough. First thing I want to do are those boots with. It's black, but not really. And honestly, the whole accent thing came from when I was a child, moving up to New Jersey from Texas. So I moved here and I had a slight southern accent. It's just how I spoke. It's what I did, because, you know, you learn how to speak in Texas, you're going to end up with a slight drawl. And it will come out if I get extremely tired or if I go on certain muscle relaxers, we found out post back surgery. But when I moved up to New Jersey, I was told, you talk funny. Which for me, I'm like, I would talk funny? This is like an 8-year-old child. So I sort of became this impromptu mimic, trying to affect a more New Jersey-like way of speaking. And I still don't fully steer into the whole Jersey speak. I can mimic it quite well. Because you got your coffee and you got your things. You got to get your bagels with your lox and everything like that. And you get onto the turnpike and everything like, you know, all of that goes into play. But once I started doing those affectations, I realized I had an ear for picking up other accents. And avid reader as a child. Like books constantly, chronically in hand, quite frankly. Much to the consternation of some teachers. But my work always got done. And then becoming an English teacher. What did I just do? Did I put it back while I was chattering? I did. Whoops. And then when I became an English teacher, I enjoyed reading out loud to students, and that was what I started doing. I started giving my, you know, reading things out loud stuff. The characters would get different voices to keep their attention. So it was one of those things where it kind of all blended together nicely, and who would have thunk? I'm totally experimenting right now to see how this flared out brush works as a wash brush. This is going in the garbage. Nope, that's gone. That's officially in the garbage. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into doing all these different accents and just pulling things together. Oh, just say bam a lot? Like spam a lot. Yeah, but he's not Creole, is he? Emerald? That's his, Oh, that's totally out of frame. Meep. Good thing there's another boot. Kentucky. And then there's me. A guy could tell me, hey, I like this accent. Oh, okay. Hee. I'm kidding. Totally kidding. It has come in handy, though, because there have been times where I've had to call up customer service for reasons. This is out here. This is a funny story. When I was working at the flower shop, you have to call patient relations, basically, to find out if the patient is able to get flowers and everything like that. So here we go with the not black on the black boots. So I needed to find out if this patient was in ICU or not, because that very much dictates whether they can get fresh flowers if you have to send something else. And whoever the volunteer was that morning at patient relations or services or whatever, she was not in a good mood. So I called with 3 names that I need to check up on. She's like, no, only 1 name, call back later. Well, I need to get these done because the run was about to happen in a half hour. So I called back up and you hear, you know, patient services. Yeah, honey, I just need to check and see on a couple patient names because we've gotten a couple orders for them. We just want to make sure that it's okay to send over some plants or flowers to them, because if not, we want to be sure we're doing the right thing here. Holy crow, did that old biddy change her tune. I got the world on a string with her. She gave me all the information I could have possibly wanted, and we even chatted. Yeah. I had fun with that one. I didn't have the heart to tell her, like, oh, and by the way, you just spoke to me on the phone about 2 minutes ago. That would have been fun, but. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cape. I'm going to do a couple different colors. Now I'm looking at this. People think I'm Canadian because of the way I say certain words. Because I say oat and roof and things like that. I'm going to go into Carroburg Crimson for the cloak. Okay. So, yeah. I like to play. I like turtles. I do have a tabaxi in the works for another game. And I'm thinking I might do something of like an Eartha Kitt-like accent. Very drawn out and, wow. We shall see. All right, so I'm going in with the Carroburg. The Carroburg Crimson. I'm going to put it onto the cloak. Not to be mistaken with Cloak from World Tree Burns. I'm also going to do the coat. The red coats are coming. The red coats are coming. Let's see what else. Hey. Deception +4. Oh, God. Yeah, it was. It's amazing what happens when you just throw in that little bit of a twang and start calling people honey and shug. Depending on what you're doing. Oh, my goodness. But yeah, I have found that by defaulting to that accent every so often, it's given me a slight advantage. Why not? Why not, I say? The Raleigh and Engalanti. Ah, really English. Interesting, Viper. Learned something new today. Very cool. It is fun to play around with the British Isle accents too, because you can have your broader, brighter ones and your more equipped and precise upper echelon hoity-toity types. But I have fun with it. I really do. Sometimes just throw in accents to see what people will do, reaction-wise, with the characters. But having talked about that, that's not to say you have to do accents. You really don't. If you can, fantastic. If not, the thing that makes an NPC memorable is the story you put behind them. Honestly. I have met NPCs who were entirely engaging and it's the DM's own voice, but because they're just so fleshed out and there's such a depth to them, you want to know more of who they are, what they're doing. Accent, voice be damned. Quite frankly, as long as you're enjoying yourself, that's really what comes through the most. And that's my 2 cents. Don't have to take my word for it. Still going with this Carroburg. Very carefully. Now, when I go into using multiple washes, I will let one dry a little bit more before moving on to the other. Because otherwise it just gets to be a little too, let's have everything bleed into each other. And that gets old fast. So I'm sweeping this in and just dabbing it on where I can now. And we're going to let him dry at this point. I do spin it around so I can kind of smooth out any puddling that might be happening. Yeah, switching gears back to the painting. Oh yeah, we're painting, aren't we? Natural hillbilly talk helps a lot. Alright, so then the plan is going to be for the pants and also back down the boots. I'm going to do another round of Nuln Oil. Same thing for up on the shield and the bit of fur. The face, I'm probably going to go in with a flesh tone. The hair, I'm probably going to do Agrax Earthshade on that one. But that's the plan for the washes. Right now, again, I'm just sort of smoothing out any puddling that's going on. Yeah, it's coming together now. It's coming together. Come together right now over me. Don't know why I just did that. Fall back to your 7 draws. Well, and honestly, if I watch True Blood for too long, I go back into mine. I don't even try to, but it's just, hello, it's right there. Which I think is why Eevee is one that I can get very lost in, because it's that drawl, it's just amplified. So yeah, I have so much fun doing it. All right, let me close this up before I spiel. And again, this is Find on Thingiverse. Pretty print. Save your washes. I do need to order more of these washes. Reminder to self. So, all right, let me pull out Agrax. You're very welcome, Dungeon Matron. I'm happy to share. I'm happy to get goofy and silly while we chat and hang out. It's kind of my thing. So I'm doing that, and then no. I know. I think I'm going to do the Seraphim Sepia for his hands and face. That's what I was thinking of. So Agrax and Seraphim, and then Nuln Where's my gnome? God, my gnome's almost gone.
Oh no.
Look at that. He's getting like low on the... Because God knows those Tennessee boys and all the help we can get. Yeah, well, you never know. So, next week, Strahd's going to get finished offset. What? Behind the scenes. There's what I want. I'm going to finish up Strahd separately. I will take pictures of him on Nightmare, on the base, and everything like that, but he's kind of getting to the point where there's some fine details I want to be able to do, and it's hard to do under the camera. But next... Oh, that's right. One moment, please. I want to get the... I'm stuck on my seat. Hold on. It's rotating me into a corner. I want to get my ID back. Black crystal. Not black, dark crystal. Hold on. Yay, it's right here. Getting attacked by an axe. Okay. This is fun. This is fun stuff. Okay. So, this. This. There we go. I use already made washes for my minis, and I make my own washes for Terrain Dungeon Matron. Let me move Strahd. So this is dark crystal. I want to get it so you can see this. Hold on. Better. Push everything out of the way. So let me get this in a better focus. This is a board game you can get. And in there are minis. And I want to get these minis painted up. Or one of them at least for next week. So what I'm going to do is take pictures. Come on, there we go, darling. So what I want to do is take pictures of the miniatures. But I mean, this is just... I have a live stream on this if you want to see, but... God, I love this game. The artwork is stunning. It really is beautifully made. It's beautiful. Like, true blue, beautiful. So they have 4. 2 Skeksis and 2 Gelflings. So we have these 2. We're just ridiculously detailed. But I love them. So it's going to be these 2 presented as well as these 2. So I'm going to take pictures of them all. Actually, I'll probably do it as soon as we get off this, quite frankly. And I'm going to post onto my poll thing that I do for my patrons. And that's all patrons. They get to do this every month. Vote on which mini gets painted. So it'll be... The details on these are just amazing. So one of these 4... Yep, there's a Chamberlain. One of these 4 are going to be... We have Jen. We have... Mind is blanking. Hold on. Let's pull out the cards. So we have Jen. He's in there. The second, the Garth Master. And Skeksil, the Chamberlain. Kira, thank you. So Kira is in here as well. So those are the 4 minis where the patrons will get to vote which one I'll paint up. And honestly, if it's one of the Skeksis, it's going to take them a while. I have not played Betrayal at the House on the Hill. But we'll see which one of these 4 is our winner, and I'll paint them next week, is the plan. And there'll probably be 2 or 3 rounds. Possibly. Probably, I should say. But that's the game plan for a mini next week. Strahd's going to get done in full. And I'll jump over to one of these lovelies. The box itself is just... This is one of those games where it is beautifully made. Truly beautifully made. Hey, look! We're at terrain focus now. Focusing for terrain is so much easier. So that is going to be the game plan for next week. I will have it where... Oh, I'm doing ASMR. Where I will be painting one of these lovelies. Ooh. And we'll find out who it's going to be. That's my patron's job. See what they decide on. And then I will take pictures of Strahd when he is done. I am going to try one more thing with that sword and see if I can get it. I'm not going to hold my breath. And when he's done, he'll get his glamour shots up on Nightmare and we'll take it from there. But that is it for today. It is 1:33. I think it's time to bring this to a close. Oh, Brandon. Oh, darling. You're coming in just as I'm saying goodbye. You can catch all of this on the VOD, though. It's going to be up and running. But thank you, everyone who joined in the chat. It was so wonderful to see you all again and to chat with you all again. And I'm looking forward to hanging out with you Friday, where I'm going to show you how I am making some lovely brick walls as scatter for city terrain. That's something I thought would be a fun thing to bring into play for the Zobek terrain, as well as to share with all of you. So, wait, no paint on my fingers. Yeah, I did. See, I did some painting. It's right there. It's always there. And yeah, that's it for me for today. And I wish you all the very best. Let me close that window so I can actually close this off. And I will see you on the flip side. Find me on Twitter, find me on Facebook, find me over on Instagram, as well as obviously here on YouTube. So take care, everyone, and I'll chat with you all anon. Bye.